there's literally never been a better time in the world for every person, to essentially, reach a customer, right? I mean, there's always been somebody in the middle. There's just never been a better time in the world with the tools that we have where every person can reach the customer without anybody in the middle. I want you to really think about that. You heard some stuff yesterday that got you thinking differently about how you go after the customer. But today we're going to be talking in this session about who's in the middle and how you can get direct access to scale your brand and go direct to the customer. Now listen, if you are in the middle, you're in trouble. I'm sorry. I mean, you're going to learn a little bit more about that in a bit. I'm going to explain why. But this is also an opportunity for you to do something about it and not be the one that wakes up and says, oh boy, what happened? So during this talk, we will share about the future of product. I'm going to talk about how you get products introduced to the industry. Also, if you're buying products, how you learn about those products, scaling your business, and really owning your own success and future. Now, first, I want to introduce you to some things that we're creating that will help support you. We've created a show. We're dropping it actually today, and I'm gonna show you a little teaser or a trailer, as you will, for that. And it's called Scaling Multifamily Brands. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a short trailer of our first episode right here at the end of my talk. So look out for that. It's kind of cool about reimagining how you learn and get introduced to products. We'll also be dropping some amazing, helpful content on the Scaling Multifamily podcast. Obviously, that podcast will launch right after the show launches, so don't go searching now for it. It's not there yet. It will drop in the audio form, so those of you that like to listen and use the voice of your brand. I mean, how many of you are thinking about voice right now? Voice is powerful. Maybe you're listening to my voice because you're doing something else. You're trying to do that budget or something, but you're still tuned into this event and only listening to the voice. Maybe you are watching. People are different. So that's just the way that we're working here. So we already have a Facebook group designed to shift the way that you think and interact with the marketplace. Now that's called Scaling Multifamily Brands. What I'd like you to do, this is free to join. Go to Facebook, search for Scaling Multifamily Brands, maybe write it down. You don't have to do it now. Maybe one of our moderators can put that in the comments. But basically, or even a link to it, that might even be helpful. But you basically want to go to Scaling Multifamily Brand, or Facebook, search for Scaling Multifamily Brands, join that group. It's free. And what we're going to do in this group is it's designed to help you scale your multifamily business fast. It's not designed to connect and meet people. Like, there's going to be learning, there's going to be tools in there's going to be strategies, and we're going to disrupt the way things are going in the multifamily industry. Now, this isn't just for vendors, and you'll hear more about that later. I'll be doing some live training, right? So let me give you a second here. I'm going to show you exactly what we'll do. I won't take your time now, but we're going to do live training. I have a whiteboard here. And let me just give you an example here. I mean, we're going to go through all of these assets. If I get the wheels, someone needs to innovate wheels. There we go. Thanks, Tim. I'm going to go through all of these things. This is an end-to-end strategy of some of the things that you're going to do. I'm not going to take your time now, right, in this session, but I want to also know that you need deep dive follow-up on this stuff. We'll be doing that live. Thank you, Tim. Yay! Don't do that when I bring it. I brought in the whiteboard at the last minute, and I made it a little fun there. So listen, I'm not going to take your time to go through all that's on the whiteboard right now. We don't have enough of that time. I really respect your time, but I want you to start thinking, but then also you have the opportunity, if you're involved and you're excited about scaling your business, then go to the Facebook group and I'll go deep dive into training, and we're going to show you everything that we've done and what others are doing to scale in a modern way, right? So basically go to Facebook, Multifamily Brands, Scaling Multifamily Brands, join the group, and we'll do some follow-up there. So think of it almost like a breakout session, right? So over the last 7 years, I've learned I've had some punches, right? I've had some issues, right? Just like many of you, I've spent a lot of money on things that did not work out. Some things worked, some things didn't, and you're planting these seeds and you're wondering, are they going to sprout, right? You get this. This happens to you, I'm sure. And I'll be honest, most of what I discovered, it came out of necessity. didn't come out of abundance, right? Some of these great startups you see came out of the necessity and then ultimately scaled with acceleration, with funding and some of the other customer growth in their P&L. What we had as a brand is we had a research project and a vision that started way back in 2014. And guess what? Research, that product, it's boring. I mean, who wakes up in the middle of the night and thinks and worries like, I need my research? Nobody in the history of ever does that. It also needed to acquire that sort of product and get it into the market. We needed the CEOs to sign off, the board of directors. I mean, this was about the company vision. And so it required all employees to be involved. Not only that, the CEOs are thinking, well, this is going to disrupt and distract and it's going to be a lot of work and we got to email all the employees, all that stuff. Well, who were we to do all of this, right? And we had to launch that from nothing without anybody in the middle. So trust became most important for us. That's what we learned. The biggest thing is trust. If you have trust, you can sell. And if you have trust, you have to be intentional about what you're doing. Your intention is not to sell. Your intention is to educate and be helpful in advance. And therefore, people understand, they value, and they trust you. And then ultimately, you get acceleration and scale of sales. But this product in the hands of operators, technically, would fundamentally shift how they attract talent, attract investors, and engage their teams. Look, we'd be saving them money, and they'd be putting dollars onto the bottom line. And I know you have products right now that you know sit in your own boardrooms and your own conference calls. You know you can help people, but you're frustrated because they won't call you back. You're frustrated because you can't get to the right decision maker. Or it takes 6 people that you've got to educate into business, and you're not even the one selling anymore because the person you sold to needs to sell to somebody else, and you're not in control of that message. So how do you get all this stuff out there? How do you do this then? Well, I first tried to reach out to all the national associations, but that fell flat. Then sponsoring events, I mean, the minimum there was 5 figures to just show up, right? And the audience was limited. I just couldn't reach people at scale. So we got creative. We launched an event, a podcast, we wrote articles, we interviewed clients getting success with our products, using our products. We invested in social media where, by the way, most humans spend their time, all right? But the thing is, we just started reaching people at scale, all without hiring salespeople, attending trade shows, or taking people to dinner, which is typical in the process that most people serve. I will tell you though, we did fuss with technology. We had webinar platforms, event registrations, podcasting tools and tech, all the changes and updates that come with all that platform stuff. We had subscriptions to online forums where we were capturing leads and survey tools and email marketing platforms, text messaging. I mean, we had CRMs, we had funnel builders, we had calendar booking tools, online course platforms, and just to name a few, there were just many more that I can't even spend time here talking about. But the good news is we were direct to the customer. It starts to add up financially. But these tools were not able, just to, just be something that we log into and something that we dabble with. It gave us a direct access to our ideal customers. Then we took all of those tools and the software, and we reached out to the best software developers on the planet and put together a software and a platform that does all of those things in one platform, and that's what we're using for our own brand today. It gives us control of the message, the ability to craft our own story, and combined with our strategy, it gets clients calling us, or in your case, calling you. I know it sounds hard, and it is. It's probably why you're not getting it done, because you got to hire a team of people to do it. I get that. But here's the thing. Everything in the middle is being eliminated. You heard yesterday about all the banks closing 4,400 branches. It's not because they wanted to. It's because the customers were not using them. Listen, trade shows will still happen. Just like you can find banks, right? You can still find branches. But if you as a brand are throwing away 80 to 90% of your marketing dollars, just hiring people, traveling to trade shows, taking people to steak dinners, reaching limited segments of an audience, and by the way, some of these events, only extroverts show up. Well, how are you selling to introverts? Or the people that are logical or linear or amiable? So how are you going to sustain your brand when all of that gets eliminated? Maybe you're a new brand and you want to compete with those large incumbents, right? The ones that dominate floor space, right? Or take people to helicopter rides, which we've done, right? Or $4 million parties while you spend all your money and people are just shuffling by your trade show. How does that impact not only the future of multifamily, right? But how does that impact your ability to compete on that scale? You can't. Now is your time. If you have a new innovative product or solution, you're helping your clients every step of the way. The playing field literally has been leveled, and I'm proof of that. You're watching it right now on our platform. You came to this platform through these processes and strategies. This goes for management companies too. This isn't just for vendors. Investors, it goes for industry partners, vendors, whatever you want to call them. People with a company that need to sell products, it works for. It's my opinion that every company is a company. Now, anyone that says, listen, I'm on the management side or I'm on the vendor side, it's just not true. You've grown up in a system that's broken and a system that's dying or has died. There is no side. A person is a person and a company is a company. We are one. One brand, one company, one vision, and one industry. Management companies, if you think about it, they're vendors too. They're just serving the client, the investor. They're an expense, right? We all need clients and we need to be able to scale and have control of our outcomes. Now, I wrote about this prior to COVID, and I'm going to pull out we do magazines, right? Innovation magazine. So in the back of it, I'm just going to show you because why am I showing you? Because some people like to listen, some people like to read, some people like to watch, and some people like proof. Well, sometimes you got to show and tell, right? Back in school. The end of the trade show. This is a 2019 before COVID summit. And part of that article was really about the 600,000 tons of trash that goes to this process and the expense and the ability to scale. Well, we launched Multifamily Studios at that same event. It's basically our Netflix platform, a streaming platform designed to bring the event to you instead of going to events. Or why didn't we do a booth? Well, because we can invest in one 20-minute talk and that can live on forever, right? So we did that. We had an innovation showcase and we launched Multifamily Studios and we brought the trade show to you. We're bringing the content, the things that you need to learn today. We're doing that today. Then COVID hit in March. Then in 2020 Innovation Summit, which was just just around the corner here behind us. This is our innovation map. Obviously the Zoom backgrounds, that's timely for the event of living in a Zoom world. And it says trade shows are dead as we know them. So it wasn't even a prediction anymore. They did die. Now, I didn't predict COVID, but trade shows did die. You probably know, right? So if you're in the middle, you are in trouble. I mean, this isn't about being soft. This is about really, truly caring for you to stop, think, and prepare. Maybe you're an account manager, an executive, wherever you are, you have the ability to fix this now. So let's talk about who's in the middle. Apartment associations, events. By the way, I produce events and I'm the one telling you this. That's how much I care about you. I want to put myself out of business because we have a better way to actually serve you and serve the clients. It's what Netflix did with the DVDs. When they went to streaming, they had to put themselves out of the business of mail order, which seemed risky, but they won the big game because they're making long-term investments. Anything that stands between you and the customer and does not add value will be eliminated, right? I don't think investors are going to go away, and I don't think that everything will go away like right now, but I am still a fan of the investments. So like brands like NMHC, I don't think that goes away, right? That organization, which I'm not really a part of, but I know that they produce content that is important to investors and it gets you understanding the things that will not go away. So don't take everything that I'm saying and say everything is going to change. There will be some things that change and you're already thinking about who that is. I mean, how many people do we need sending letters to Congress? You see, Hollywood has told us this big bad property owner stories. The news has talked about fires, murders on the news. We're all in, we're just not in control of the story. And the people in the middle, which was the news telling the story, or even Hollywood told the story. And now you have associations trying to change things without even telling a story, just providing information. But people don't want information. They want an outcome. They want a result. They want their problems to go away. They want a bigger and better future. The good news is that there's nobody in the middle anymore. It's not going to happen tomorrow, which is why most people won't do anything. Then they're going to wake up and it's going to be too late. So here we are today. You have people in the middle of you and your client. Now, fundamentally, a good business knows how to generate leads. When did we start thinking that the only way to a marketplace is through events? You see, we start selling B2B, but really it's person to person. So let's look at this event, the one you're attending now. We didn't do sponsorships. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Why didn't we need why would we not do sponsorships? I'm happy. Any company should be always accepting revenue. And there's plenty of it trying to sponsor. But what we know is that we didn't do sponsors because we didn't need to underwrite the event. We didn't want to build our business on the backs of another brand. In fact, did you know that some big sponsors can actually influence the message at some of these events? Where does that leave you? If you go to the Staples Center in LA, I don't even know if it's still called the Staples Center. You think Office Depot is bringing their clients there? Right? The brands can influence the information you get. Where does that leave you while you're trying to run your company without the access to the broad products and innovations that can actually change your business? So how do we support multifamily vendors and sponsors? You might be asking, well, if you're not doing sponsors, how in the heck are you doing this? Well, we ask the question, why do they even want to sponsor? And guess what? They don't want to sponsor. They do not want to sponsor. They want relationships. They want awareness. They want to educate the marketplace. And guess what? They also want clients. So yes, of course, they need to grow and scale their business. That's why they do it. Have you thought about that? If you have something that can help operators, you need to get it out there. They want out of that maze, and nobody stopped to even think about it. They just collected money, and still growing their events and doing things the old ways. It looks like what the auto industry tried to do to fight Tesla. There's a lot of people that stood to gain if the old ways stayed in place. Look, what we did over the last 7 years interacting with the marketplace, we were building trust and acquiring top brands in both operations and on the innovation side. We put together a software and a team that can now help other brands leverage the same strategies we use, driving more than 2 million units nationally without attending a single trade show, hiring a bunch of salespeople, or even taking anybody to any expensive dinners. Look, you guys, I feel for you. You grew up in a system and a religion to a process that's dead. There are so many things I see people, they're doing things that if I bought your business, it would be the first thing that I would stop doing on day one. I watch so many of you hustling around, trying to get clients, press release after press release, taking your clients to dinner, talking about your products, talking about your information. People don't want information. Taking pictures, even at trade shows, hiring more people, business development people, all that stuff. You have a religion to things that don't make sense. But here's what I know. The type of people that get results are spending their own money. When someone is spending their own money, they think bigger about the things that they're doing. They see progress as part of the bigger picture. Like planting, if you've ever Googled the bamboo tree, it's like planting seeds that will eventually get harvested. These types of people see marketing as growth to the bottom line. It actually drives the business. And a good person to follow is Joe Paulo. She says a compelling offer is 10 times more effective than a convincing argument. Do you really want to be convincing people, right? If you do good marketing, you don't have to convince. Great marketing helps your sales team spend less time, convincing and more time understanding the needs of the client. They don't have to be convincing them in on these demos. Psychologically, they're at a disadvantage. So we do modern marketing that works like basically air cover that goes in before you. right? If you were at battle, you'd want that. What's the air cover? What's the vision? So by the time you get there, you're positioned for success. We move people through 4 phases throughout the year: awareness, comprehension, conviction, and trust. It takes time, right? It takes time. We take strangers from unaware to aware, then we help them understand what the product is, who it helps, how it helps, who you're helping maybe. Then we need them to get them to essentially have conviction that you're the only brand for them. And finally, what's in the final phase? The outcome, which is trust. And if you're the most trusted brand in multifamily, do you really have a problem getting clients? Now, trust is necessary if you want to close deals. It's a marathon. And the last thing you want to do in a marathon is sprint at the beginning. So start thinking about how you're becoming the brand that everyone trusts. Do you have a plan? Do you have a plan, a long-term plan? Are you paying your business development people and incentivizing them for developing that long-term trust? Are you patient with them in that plan? Or are you really looking at the conversions? Are you trying to do that at a trade show, in a demo meeting? Can you get trust in one meeting? At a coffee, at dinner? Are you the ones that are sprinting? Now remember, nothing good happens when you rush the process. And basically with the right strategy and the right air cover, as I said, going in before you, by the time you're on a sales call, they already understand all these things. You will get clients calling you so you can spend less time convincing and more time qualifying. So you now work with the clients you actually enjoy working with. Now, if you're a marketer and you believe marketing is for promotion's sake, you're likely focused on short-term click-through rates or even ROAS, as they call it, return on ad spend, and pontificate on data. I get all that. That all stuff works, and you need to know that. But you got to think like that owner, long-term, planting the seeds, harvesting a long-term vision. These people, sometimes the marketers, are paid to take meetings or even just research events. We have people that reach out to us that their job, right? I mean, I've literally had meetings with people, and they're like, that's my job, events. I'm like, sorry, now you know. I don't want to be a typewriter repair person, right? They want to know that marketers they approach it like, what's your attendee list? It's the first signal that we have no alignment because they're rushing the process. They're sprinting at the beginning. They're trying to convert. They're trying to sell instead of educate. The intent is not aligned, right? They want to know those attendee lists because most of the industry is trained the marketing people that you need to go through channels to access the customer. I'm teaching how to go direct. But again, good companies, they know how to get their own leads. Now, these marketers are people that say Facebook ads don't work because they tried it, or once they did it, they just gave up, they stopped. They didn't have the marketing stamina, and likely they probably didn't have the right copy, the right messaging. And so there's a perception, right? They have a perception issue. Maybe they don't use Facebook themselves, so they think there are no customers on there. And I'm not saying Facebook's the end all, but I'm telling you right now, I have 4.3 million reasons to show you that Facebook still works. Everything works. You just need to know the right strategy and have the right intent. For example, we registered 2,600 people to this summit without attending or even announcing any speakers. How did we do that? Because the event is centered around the problems you want solved or the opportunities that you're trying to create. I'm not selling speakers. That's not what we're here for. We're here to make your problems go away or make your life better, right? I told you that. That's before we produce content. That has to pass that test. Now, I guarantee you they came to know about the event through some kind of digital strategies, right? This is that air cover that goes in before you. Look, you've had success in these old ways. I get it. It's the same as the multifamily operators that had success with print magazines. It will work, but will it work as good as it should? Now, I'm not here to convince you. I'm just trying to, look out for you and tell you what's worked for us, and it can work for you with the right strategy, the right team, the right software, and the right tools. Just look at how you behave outside of the work. Are you consuming video? Are you reading articles? Are you shopping? Are you doing research? Are you doing things online? Does Amazon deliver things to you? Is life easy? Are you making it easy for a customer to become a customer? Do you like how easy that is to research products before you buy them? Do you have less time than you've ever had before? I probably do. Now, our clients, management companies and operators, are forced to reimagine their business. We've asked them to lease without offices being open. We've asked them to unlock doors without the technology in place. We've asked them to collect rents when they were not allowed to, right? They've had to reimagine their business. So what have you done to reimagine the way that you market your business? Did you just sit back and go, I'm just going to wait because everybody in management companies are focused on COVID? Or did you reimagine it? Listen, the clients, they have wear-out fatigue with the old way. We do podcasts, articles, product launches, product showcases, user conferences, thought leadership. There is a move away from selling intent to education-based intent. And all the content we produce multifamily for our clients and for multifamily vendors, it must make a problem go away for the client, or it must design a bigger and better future for the person that's viewing it. And that's what people want, right? I got 2,600 reasons to show you that that's the truth. Let me give you an example. People don't wake up every day worried about hiring a staffing company, do they? They may have a staffing problem, but do they worry about, am I choosing the right company? But if choosing the right company could make their problem go away, but that's not what they're worried about. Most people we're all selfish, right? We worry about our needs. So they're not waking up worrying about a staffing company. What they do worry about is how do you solve the maintenance recruiting problem, and how do you do that without spending a lot of money on ads? That would be a pain point in the multifamily industry. Our copywriting team structures that with how to desire without non-desire to get people to show up and pay attention to the content. So our strategy team has the intel with what multifamily executives are concerned about and the challenges they face. You registered this event and probably provided 3 of your top business challenges, right? So what did we do? We created an event to solve for that. We invited a staffing company to educate around this big problem. We're not educating on it. Now, is this staffing company, at this event, if they do truly a good job and their intent is to help and to solve those problems, then that staffing company will get new clients, and they'll get clients calling them, right? It's no longer the ghosting or how do I get them to call me back. That is the goal. Everyone wins. Now, it's happening in more places than you think. You look at online dating, right, which I'm not doing because I'm married, but somebody told me that Bumble does that. You only talk to girls that want to talk to you, right? So there's an acceleration of noise and the acceleration of the quality of conversations, and the only way to do that is have that air cover going in. So we have registered about 400 people to this event, and it serves as an invitation inside this sort of product launch studio, even here in Scottsdale or even virtually. And imagine flying in and delivering a talk in front of 400 of your ideal clients. Technically, these things can be done remotely, but if CNBC called and gave you access, would you fly into New York and show up? We also took it a step further. We started to ask, how can we scale the company executives, not only their time, but also provide the value proposition in a way that's helpful to their ideal clients? In other words, if more people knew about this staffing companies and basically how much the staffing company cared and really truly understood the problems they solve, they could scale as fast as they really wanted to. So as part of the multifamily clients marketing team, we took our filmmakers to San Diego. As part of our Scaling Multifamily Brand Show, we did a little episode, right? There'd be no other way to bring this type of information to the meeting, trade show or demo, anything like that. It's the air cover that goes in before you get clients calling you. Let's have a look at this. We'll play the show.
We're not just doing our class for us, for our Make Ready. We're also, using our facility to help the industry with other maintenance-related training programs.
Side. And this is the first thing that I think we've been able to do on the maintenance side where we can actually add to the resource pool.
Now look, that was just a teaser. I get it. It's a commercial. We're going to, at the event, actually I'm going to have somebody, can you guys put in the link to that event? It's coming up, and actually if you click that link, you'll see a little documentary that we're doing with America Rents around the maintenance areas to really tell a better story and solve that business challenge. But here's an example of doing an event instead of like this event. It's a one-off targeted event solving an industry problem, and we just showed that we have top-level leaders, executives, CEOs that really truly care about this problem showing up, and this company is going to get that exposure. So if you notice, even on Netflix, these things are happening, the trend of in the power of story. So you're starting to see these documentary-style, real-world, day-in-the-life shows that help us connect with the people and the brands. Now, what we do is we're going to go out and find those brands, tell those stories. Imagine being with your software developers at your studios, at your warehouse, wherever, and bringing it. It's home shopping, right? That meets the internet, right? And so we're bringing that content to you. Now, I think that's truly helpful for the executive because they don't have time to fly around and do the due diligence. Now, if you're a multifamily vendor, an industry partner, and you are helping your clients every step of the way, please click the button below on the page that says Learn More. It's a blue button. Just click it so you can learn more about how we can help you discover new ways that we can help you get clients calling you.